Welcome back to session 2. If you made it this far, then you already know of the assessment of my swings from yesterday, that I really needed to put some hyper focus on that lead hip. Now you probably can't see the stack of balls right here, but I've already done about 75 reps. I really wanted to kind of grind it out and get this hip going until I turn on the camera, so I wanted to make sure that I had some feedback. It's the one thing when you're changing your swing or cleaning up your swing, you got to have some feedback. So I wanted to use the camera, make sure that that hip was working, because I don't want it to rear its ugly head later on down the road, because of how important it is just for that quality of strike and that safety reason. So I'm going to let you tune in on my last 25 reps. Hopefully that hip's a little bit better. Hopefully we'll see it on camera right now. I can tell you, as I was working on this, I really started to notice that my hip being lazy. That's more what it was. It wasn't really protection. I was talking about in that assessment, I wondered if it was just me being kind of tired and not used to firing the muscles, or if my brain thought it was like protecting itself because it wasn't kind of pivoting and rotating around. And what I've come to find out so far is more just being lazy, and I think that's just, I haven't used it. Those muscles just kind of gone a little bit dormant, so I've had to really work on firing those hard. And in the meantime, when I start firing my legs a little bit harder, I've had to make sure to keep down some tension. But let's see how we do the rest of the way. So I've already got a nice sweat going on here. A little bit warmer today. But being a southern boy, it doesn't bother me. Kind of like the heat. I think that was a good one. And so what I'm going to do, so I'm going to really focus on when I get here, like getting that hip cleared. And get that pressure shift over here, get that hip cleared. Touch heavy on that one. I don't think I did that poorly with the hip. You know, a good way to check yourself, if you don't have a mirror in front of you or anything, is just drop a club down from your hip socket. Kind of see if it's going through your knee and ankle joint, because if you start to slide out ahead, this is kind of what it'll look like. So if you can't really see yourself, just drop a club down from there. It'll give you a fair assessment. Even though I hit that one on line, that was a little bit chunky, so I can't count that one. Here, get that hip. Look pretty good to me. Hips got to be good. I don't feel a whole lot of pain right now. Shoulders are good. Head was down. I think we can count that one as a win. Tell you what, I definitely could feel it this morning. Yesterday was the most balls I've hit in a long time, and getting these muscles back acclimated and working them again. I woke up this morning, I was like, oh, yep, hadn't done that in a while. It was fun during my first rotary journey when I was rebuilding my swing. I used to wake up sore in a different location all the time, and not like I did my swing incorrectly sore, but I wasn't used to using those sets of muscles. It was a new feeling for me. I think that one was pretty good. See if we can get a little repeater on that one. Had to be pretty good. You can see that belt buckle's nice and in front, about 45 degrees. Trail foot's good. Lead leg is straight. That's got to be pretty good. Getting a nice little bucket out there. The range picker is going to like me and be like, oh, I have to fix this side today. Check, make sure, maybe a tiny bit ahead. Good strike though, center of the face. Nice low trajectory. See if we can keep that up. And just to expand a little bit on yesterday, obviously I can get a little bit on a ramble since I'm trying to voice my opinions more while I'm practicing. And I thought a little bit more about, you know, kind of the positive affirmations and just how important they are to really keep the drive, really keep the motivation going. Yep, a little skinny, a little chesty through. How so important it is to not beat yourself down so much. This isn't easy. Undergoing a swing change is not easy. I've rebuilt my swing 5 times, and I know what it took each time. Nothing wrong with having a couple bad swings every now and then. That was much better. All right, get 2 more in here. I need to put down some of my notes. I mean, I can't tell you how many golf lessons I've given. I've had students from all ranges that, you know, 1 shot out of 100, they were through to the moon, so to speak. And other ones that were 99 out of 100, and they were on suicide watch. It's okay. We're going to make mistakes along the way, especially when you're changing these movement patterns. I don't expect you to hit every shot perfect. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the journey. This is supposed to be the fun time. Really getting and seeing the benefits out of all the hard work. It's the journey, not the destination. Must have been out here in the sun too long. Now I'm starting to get philosophical and zen-like. But I used to be that. And I have no problem admitting that. Oh, I was a little skinny, but I think that hip's pretty good. Just got a lot of focus on that right now, but it sounded just a little skinny. A little skinny. It was just a little tense on that one. Let me get over here. Let's see. I'm back. Like a magician. Where'd you go? Really working hard, getting that hip. So I pushed just a little bit. We see that on camera? I think I pushed just a little bit on that one. It's so important that you have in mind not only your checklist, but your process of what you're going about. As I'm going through here, definitely feels a little different than yesterday. Now, yesterday I was a little bit tighter, had some nerves, to be honest with you. And things, you know, today they're a little bit looser, starting to kind of get back used to the motion. And I'm having to really think about or make sure of, all right, I got to make sure to rotate back. I don't want to get too loose or I just kind of start arming it and winging it out there. Just got to make sure that my process and how I'm working on this, I'm really staying focused on it. Get my rotation back. That's all I really need right now. It's just a little rotation. It's going to move my arms and hands for me. Good little pressure shift, clear. Don't need a big release right now. Just maintaining that lead wrist ahead and flat. A little thin. I think I'm starting to push through a little bit. I think my legs are starting to get a little tired. Getting a little tired. We're gonna I think that's better with the hip. Looks a little more stacked to me. And if you're kind of struggling a little bit with that hip socket, trying to find it or just gauging a little bit, if you're like, oh Craig, you know, I've had some pain on the outside of my hip. I don't know if it's that because I kind of don't know where my hip socket is. For most normal pants, hip socket's going to be right around your belt loops right here. It's not every set of pant or short, but it's going to be right around this belt loop right here. And so when I'm getting over here and I'm looking at this, now I can kind of see, like if this belt loop's like way out over here like this, I'm going to be in trouble. You're going to see that it kind of starts on the inside right here, okay, because we're 2 inches outside of neutral, it's set up. And as I move over, it gets just a little bit more stacked and open. You can see it's pretty much in a straight line from there. That was good. That was good. Felt a nice clearing of the hip on that one. Head down, chest square. Take that one. So what's going on in the world today? Saw that Elon decided not to buy Twitter. I don't know what else is going on. That's pretty good. I know I have a tendency to kind of walk back there a lot and kind of check on my lines. But it's also, I just think about like when people have certain pre-shot routines, it's also good just to reset. Even if you have a good one or a bad one, just take a step back. Be like, all right, get a breather here, shake it out a little bit. I got my line right here. I know my goals, I know my checkpoints. So let's get set up here. Get into position. My goal on this is impact, but with a good hip. I'll take that one. That one's got to be pretty good. Nah. That's just being lazy. Just being lazy. Almost had good rotation, just got a little dead with my hands and try to make it up quick with hips. My boss man can tell you, if I err on any side, I tend to err on the side of being too loose. So I get set up, I get a little bit too lazy, and when I swing, I'm just like, why? What's going on? Hey. Muscles need to be ready to work, fire, and engage. I'm on the other end of the spectrum. They're like Jello. There you go. That's the way to get back on the horse. There's a balance to this, especially when it comes to tension. There's always a spectrum. You can be on this side where you're way too tense and nothing's reacting the way it should, or you actually get too relaxed and nothing fires. What do we think at home? How did we do? It's a good strike. Chest seemed okay at impact. Hand was okay. I think we're okay on that one. I know today may not be as interesting as yesterday's session number 1. And I kind of wasn't even thinking about filming today, but I had my stuff with me and I decided, I'm like, you know what, I'm really working on this. I got done talking about it. Let's see if I got that improvement out of it today. Get that hip going. Looks a little better. Good strike. All right. Get that. Just gonna do a quick one. All right. So how are y'all doing in your phase 1? You experience a lot of the same things I'm experiencing? Having these little shots? They're a lot tougher than they appear. And keep it nice, buttoned up. I can notice I'm a little bit more in control today. Doesn't feel like I'm trying to get a little overzealous and hit a little far. And how are y'all doing with your work? These little shots, they take a lot of focus. Such a small move, but they take a lot of focus. A little thin. I either pushed off a little this way and got this hip out ahead. Got a little sliding up on it. That's what it felt like. I can't mark that one. use that left side right there. Won't get this way. You push off that foot too much. Push beyond neutral. If you use the left side musculature, so to speak, the left side won't let you move left to left. Keep you pretty safe. Butt buckle in front looks pretty stacked. I think we can count that one. My first couple of ones, I kind of forgot to look to see where the ball was going. Like, how can I grade myself? I never saw it. Oh, that was good. I felt a good lead hand on that one. Really felt that kind of paintbrush feel. It's just the opposite. You're not trying to get down here and tense up. Like, I'm gonna grit my teeth and hold it. Nothing ever really works out that way in the golf swing when you're doing that. That one had that nice kind of hand paintbrush effect, just kind of leading it into it, nice and soft. Get some hips, nice and soft with that lead hand. Let's see if we can do that one again. Oh, that was good. How did we do? Looks like it's pretty good. I think we'll keep that one. So, I think that'll be a good one to end on. I know that this may not have been as long or entertaining of a session, but since I won't have some time to practice in the next few days, I really wanted to kind of grind it out, make sure my earlier on reps, I was really getting this, and I needed some feedback tools, so I was kind of going back and forth between the camera since I'm kind of out here on my own, which is what you should be doing. So even though it's a little shorter, hopefully you got a little bit out of this. I know I didn't talk as much, a little tired, a little bit sore, but I'm going to go back home and I'm going to assess. I'm going to see if this hip's doing better. I'm going to stay on task with that, make sure I get all my reps into the rep tracker. We're going to keep this train rolling. So I will see you guys in the trenches on my next phase 1 session. Hopefully I get through this one pretty quickly though.